Okay, now it's recording. Okay. Now we're ready. What about questions? What you got? Which one? 8. Number 8. We're going to be laggy today, too. Clee, yes, you could get decimals on your answers. Two x minus 9 over 4 less than or equal to. Did everybody get their homework turned in on Classroom this morning? Okay. I have decided I'm just going to put it in on Fridays, probably Friday afternoons. And just do it all at one time.
The homework for tonight, do you want to turn it in like last night or not if we did it
Oh, it doesn't matter if you turn it in this morning, that's fine.
I did last night.
That's fine. As long as you turn it in before class. Like if I see you turn it in at like 11 o'clock, then I know you didn't do it last night. You wait till we went over it. You see what I'm saying?
No,
So just before class.
I turned it in tonight.
That's fine. That's fine. No, just effort. Did you try them? That's all I'm looking for. No, I'm definitely not gonna take off if it's right or wrong, for sure.
Just for now or like
Forever.
really?
As long as you try, homework is a gimme grade. It's a good way to have half of your average. Well, 40% now.
Why did you change that?
Well, they changed it because, like, for instance, we've got a teacher here who's in middle school, and he was saying that I won't say the middle school teachers, some teachers weren't keeping the minimum number of grades as much, and so they were putting the same number of majors as minors, so the kid would, like, take a quiz, and it would count the same as taking, like, a major test, or would turn in a homework assignment, and it would be the same as a major test. And they're doing it the way it should have been done, so they said, well, then we'll fix it. We'll just make major 60% and minors 40%.
So like we took a lot of tests in high school. We don't take a lot of tests here. But like
We'll start taking quizzes in here.
no, but I'm saying like in high school, like
Oh.
classes that I had last year, we take only like 3 or 4.
That's
four.
probably all you'll have.
And by middle school, you take like 1.
Yeah.
So when you're higher, when you're junior, like still way more.
The stakes are higher on the yeah. And what we'll probably do, because it takes us so long to make it through a chapter, we'll have tests at chapters, but then we'll have a couple projects. I try to do a project each quarter, too, to be a major grade. I don't know how I'll work that with virtual, though, but. Y'all got any questions about that before I do this? Okay.
I'm waiting for my teacher.
I don't think she knows her mic is on. All right. So, because this is a fraction, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this.
I got some shit.
Chloe, can you hear us? Chloe. Okay, there you go. Thank you. I've got y'all pretty high on volume, so if y'all have a question and you deep in, hear you. All right. I just lost it. Back to what I was saying with this problem. So, because I've got a fraction here and I'm going to need to cross multiply to solve, I went ahead and put that one over 1 and I'm cross multiply. Be careful making sure you distribute when you cross multiply, okay? So, 2x minus 9 is 9. And I've got 4 times x plus 2. Right? Everybody good? So I got 2x minus 9. If you ever see that blue circle of death, that means I'm just waiting to see if it's going to crack or let me, because it's... Okay. 2x minus 9. Then to distribute that 4 through, this is ridiculous. This is absolutely less. Less than or equal to 4x plus 8. Now get x by itself. Yes. I'm gonna move the 2x because I'm in the habit of moving the small one. If moved the 4x, it would be a-okay. The only problem is it would cause your x to be negative, and when you divide it by that, you would need to flip that sign. But you're okay either way. I'm gonna subtract the 8, and so I get, so here's one of your fractions, if you were supposed to get fractions. So negative fraction or decimal.
Like, I feel like I came off because I didn't do exactly what you did, but
What'd you do? Well, this thinks,
I didn't put a 1 under, I didn't cross multiply, I just counted the right side before.
that's perfect.
That's like-
Perfect. And that's the same thing we did essentially. So yeah, that's perfect line. All right, so I got negative 17 less than or equal to x. Be careful if you moved your x to the same side that I did this way. This is negative 17 over 2. Come on. All right, something, I'm gonna have to stop something.
No, I don't know.
You got it right?
I put this on, but I made it.
I got it. So negative 17 over 2, which is 8.5, less than or to x. But when you do this, this is really x is greater than, right? So when you set up your interval notation, you're going to start negative 17 over 2, and you're going to take it to infinity. If you have negative 8.5, that is fine also. What's on your mark? Y'all are probably scared to ask now that the computer's so stinking slow to write a problem. 36. Y'all, come on now. Don't listen to them. 9z minus 4. Let me ask you as I write this. Did you guys cross multiply this one, or did you multiply by an LCD kind of thing? Okay. I didn't know if you tried to get rid of the fractions by multiplying by least common denominator. Did you multiply the left top by 4 and the top right by 5? You cross multiplied. So 4 all right, since this is added up, I'm not going to rewrite. I'm going to try to write as minimal as possible. 4 times 9 is 36. And 4 times 4 is 16. Was that not, did I write it wrong? Oh, yeah. And then I'm going to take the 5 to the top of the next fraction. And so I will have 35z plus 10. I'm definitely going to move the 35z instead of the 36z because I want to try to keep my z's positive. So if I subtract 35z, I end up with a z over here. 36 minus 35 is 1. This is dumb. Are y'all seeing how much this is? Oh. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and add 16 also. I just lost them again. So z is less than or equal to 26. Okay, so less than or equal to means from negative infinity up to 26 with a bracket. We're rolling forward. I do apologize very much. You all have other questions about your homework. Okay, let's move on then to 1-3. Actually, yes, 30. I just need some math to do because that's what I need to do. All right, number 30. 1/4 x plus 12 greater than or equal to 3/4. I changed that n to x, and I am sorry, and I'm going to keep it that way because if I try to erase on this board, it is going to bog down and stall out and be done. I'm going to move the 1/4 x because it's the smaller. So what is 3/4 x minus 1/4 x? 1/2 x. That's exactly right. Minus 4. And so now I want to add 4 to both sides. 16 is greater than or equal to 1/2 x. And then how do I get rid of that 1/2? You have to multiply by reciprocal 2. So I got 32. 32 is greater than or equal to x. Again, because that x is on the right-hand side, be very careful. So it's actually saying that x is less than or equal to 36, right? So it goes from negative infinity up to 32. Is it inclusive or exclusive? Inclusive means it includes it. Exclusive means it does not. Inclusive. Inclusive means bracket and I am done. All right, what else? All right, let's move on to 1-3 then. I'm going to try to do 1-3 and 1-4 together today. I think you will find it easy. But really together.
Wait, did you?
Yeah? Go back? Sure, I can.
I actually.
All right. 1-3 rate of change. All right, so rate of change is just another word for, actually, do you know what rate of change is the word? Starts with an S, has a lot to do with lines, slope. Rate of change is just another way to talk about the slope of a linear function. So remember how to find slope. Rise over run, I hear y1 minus y2. Everybody, right? Slope, rise over run. Most of you know that little fancy formula, y1 minus y2 over x1 minus x2, right? Another way that I'm going to show you a little bit fancier way to write, a little bit more fancier, but a little bit more sophisticated way to say this. Instead of y1 minus y2, which by the way, you could do y2 minus y1 as long as you start on bottomless 2, right? Does that make sense to you guys? It doesn't matter if you write it this way or this way. Let's see, I'm supposed to write as minimal as possible. All right, but what we do, we have this little Greek symbol. Let's see if y'all know what it is. You know what that symbol is? Besides triangle, the Greek letter. No, that's delta. Okay, so delta in math means change. So as we increase our mathematical knowledge, we will say that this slope is actually, instead of rise over run, or instead of y2 minus y1 and so on and so forth, we will say that slope is change in y divided by the change in x. Do you see why? It's just how much is I change, how much is X change. All right, so I'll do an example, and I think if I just do one example, I think you'll be good with rate of change and slope, because that's a pretty Algebra 1 concept, right? See if you can find the slope between these 2 points. What is the slope? So you do this on your own, and then we'll do it together. Did y'all get it? Oh, I should have that while we were working this out. That's all right. This whole video is going to be messed up anyway. All right, what'd you get? What's the change in y? How does y change? From point A to point B, or from the first point to the second point, how does y change? Increase or decrease? From 5 to 3. Decreases by what? 2. So I got -2. Now, if you looked at it the other way, you might have got positive. It'll take into account whenever we get to the bottom of the fraction. And then from -2 to 0, what does it do? How does it change? It increases by 2. So -2 divided by 2 is, so slope here is -1. Does that make sense to everybody? Yes? Are y'all sure? Are y'all bored because this is easy? Okay. Let's write an equation of the line then, because 1-3 is all about finding that slope, but then we're going to use that to write the equation of the line in 1-4. So let's just go ahead and build on this now since we're here. I think we could have probably skipped chapter 1, but that's okay because it's some good background information. So let's say I asked you to write the equation of the line that goes through those 2 points. All right? What do I need to write the equation of the line? I need 2 things. I could have intercept, but I don't necessarily have to have it. What do I have to have? I have to have a slope, and I have to have a point, right? If I have the intercept, technically I have a point, because the y-intercept is just 0 and then whatever it is, right? All right. How might I write the equation of the line? Because I've got 2 points and I've got a slope. How might I write that equation of that line? Yes. Okay, so you're going off of slope-intercept form, am I correct? Okay, so if we go off slope-intercept form, what does slope-intercept form look like? Y equals mx plus b. Okay, so you say, and I'm not saying that you're wrong, I'm just saying, you say take the slope and plug it in. -1x plus b. And take one of these 2 points and plug in for xy to find out what b is, right? So if I take, let's say, this point, 5 equals -1 times, and if you're wondering why I picked that point, because clearly the harder point of the 2 to pick, there's a reason that I picked it, and just I intentionally made it a little harder than what it was. -1 times -2 is +2. And so if I subtract this 2 from both sides, what is b? 3. So what is the equation of this line? Y equals negative 1x, I'm just going to negative x, plus 3. And this is probably the way you've been taught to write the equation of a line since you learned what a line was, right? Slope-intercept form. Everybody knows slope-intercept form, mx plus b. What if I told you there was another easier way to write the equation of a line? We have what we call, this is, let me write the names here. This is slope-intercept, and it's slope-intercept because it gives us a slope and intercept, right? The y-intercept. We have what we call point-slope form. Has anybody ever heard of point-slope form before?
Yeah.
Oh, you good.
I don't know exactly the numbers, but it's like
Okay. It looks worse than it is. It looks like a very convoluted formula, but it's very, very easy to use, especially given us a point. All right. Y minus y1 equals slope times x minus x1. Yes? What is x1, y1? What does that mean?
Oh, well, one of the x's is like the x that's like its own, and the other one's like
The other one, right. So here, so the x and the y that don't have a subscript on them, those stay in the equation. Just like over here, you have an x and a y in the equation, right? The x1 and the y1, any point that you choose on the line, it does not matter what the point is. Okay? So if I use that negative 2, 5, y minus 5 equals, the slope that I found, right, was negative 1. And then x, and now look, my x here is negative, so minus a negative would be plus. If it not specify what form your line has to be in, this is a perfectly acceptable form. Now, if it says, hey, write the form in slope-intercept form, how might I get it from point slope to slope-intercept? How might you make this pink one look like this green one? What do you have to do? You got to add 5 to the sides and distribute that slope through, that negative 1. Okay? So it's a little bit more work to get it in slope-intercept form, but really this is an easier form to work with. And as you get in higher maths, it's really the better one to use as you get through. You don't have to plug in a point, solve for b, and go from there. Those lights shame on. All right. Is it coming back to you a little bit? Do I need to do another point slope example? Or y'all speak now, forever hold your peace? We'll kind of keep on with it as we talk about this next little concept. What does this mean? Okay, they're side by side. They never intersect. What else do you know? Good job. They have the same slope. All right. So from now on, when you see me abbreviate parallel, you will see me do not blue circle. This means parallel. Okay. So if I have two lines that are parallel and I'm writing equations, my key piece of information here is they have the same slope. So let's say I asked you to write an equation of a line that goes through the point 5, negative 6. And I want it to be parallel 2 y equals 3 over 2 x, let's make that negative 3 over 2x, plus 7. You write an equation that goes through that point but is parallel to that line. Yes? Do it. Tell me what information you get from knowing that it's parallel to that line. Slope. What's the slope going to be? Negative 3 over 2. So now you're writing the equation of the line. You have a point and you have a slope. I should probably use what? The slope form. Y. So what's y1? So what would be? Plus 6 equals slope. X what? Negative 5. Easy or hard? Easy. What if I change this from parallel to perpendicular? What does that mean? They intersect and form right angles. So they intersect at 90 degrees. What else do you know?
Their slope of the negative, like, it's like the negative of the other line.
Close. The negative and what? It does two things. Reciprocal, okay? And I'm going to say opposite reciprocal instead of negative reciprocal, because if it starts out negative, what happens to it? It becomes positive. So here, the slopes are opposite reciprocals. Okay? Now, if the slopes are opposite reciprocals, if I go back to that problem that I just did, I asked to write the equation of the parallel line, and if I change this problem just a little bit, and I said, you know what, don't write the of the parallel line. Instead, write me the equation of the, guess what, perpendicular line. Could you still do that? Do it. By this means perpendicular. That's the sign for perpendicular. What's your new slope? Positive 2 over 3, right? So the only thing changing about that equation, because I'm going through the same point, is I'm going to make this, instead of negative 3 over 2, I'm going to make this positive. Does that make sense to everybody? Everybody okay with that? I don't want to